Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lightbringers podcast. I hope you are good and well. I'm not sure what episode we're on. I should probably look that up, but it's fine. We have some epic guests with us today. We have Rookery, Engelbert, Meow, and a Fornax. I don't know why I said all of your name, Engel, but I did. We're just calling Engelbert Meow Engel short because Engelbert Meow every single time I want to say your name will be the death of me.
Well, now you have to, or I'm not answering. So
it'll be very rude if you don't refer to Engel by their entire full given Christian name. You know?
Yeah.
Engelbert Meow.
It's true. Engel, yeah. Can you imagine that? Like, you're just born in the hospital, and they're just like, yes. Have you picked out a name? Well.
Well, if your family last name is Meow, I think you can expect Engelbert to maybe be on the list. I don't know. We'll see. I would.
We were going to go with Jane or Engelbert Meow. So it's just fine. It's going to be okay. Today is going to be a little bit like this, everyone. Just so you know, there is no specific, amazing, epic topic other than we're here and being amazing. We're going to do a little bit of an intro so I can think about the first question. Actually, I know what my first question is. But Engel, seeing as you've just been born and, you know, your name is Engelbert Meow, apparently, can you tell us what you do and where you do it?
Well, as a brand new person to this world, I play Guild Wars because it's the option that makes the most sense.
That's nice.
Yeah, I stream on Twitch. I do curse cosplaying. Most recently I did Iskarin, so you can check out that post on my socials if you're interested in seeing what IRL Iskarin looks like. And then
it is incredible. You all need to go look at this with your eyeballs. It is the best thing. It's so good. So please go look at it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. So yeah, check it out. That's me. Nice. Brand new Guild Wars 2 baby.
Oh, that's sweet. Fornax, hello.
Yes. Hi.
Can you tell us about yourself and your stuff?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Fornax. Oh no, that's the wrong. I haven't done this for so long. Oh my buttons are not working properly.
Don't panic.
Let's go. Let's go. Ba-ding. So, hey, I'm Fornax. You might know me as the Crichton Herald. I used to make a lot of content for Guild Wars 2. I haven't been doing that because I've been very busy on other things. But hey, I'm over on YouTube at Fornax the Herald. I'm here on Twitch as the Crichton Herald, and you can find me basically in most places as Fornax the Herald on Blue Sky and Instagram, and not on the dead Twitter. Sorry, no. But yeah, that's me, and I'm going to be getting back to content creation now that I've got my schedule slightly more under control, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'm planning on doing more streaming because I just want to play games. I've been making a lot of content behind the scenes, and I just want to play some games, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. That is all.
Good.
Yay.
You can talk about that as well during the podcast, I think. Lovely Fornax. Yes, please go follow them. I'm chucking their links in the chat right now of folks if you're watching live. Rookery, last but not least, tell us about what you do. Hello.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rookery. I was born a long time ago compared to Engelbert Meow, so I think I'm just ancient and decrepit at this point. It's a miracle I continue to make content.
Wow.
I'm falling apart. But you can watch me as I crumble to dust before your very eyes on Twitch at ROOKURI. You can also find me on YouTube. And I have been doing a fun project with Fornax, a TTRPG that's a Final Fantasy 14 setting called A Time Adrift on YouTube. I'm on this podcast, and I'm also on 8th Right Radio for Final Fantasy 14, and I do a bunch of esports stuff. So this year we've got all sorts of things coming up. I'm going to be casting live at EU FanFest for Final Fantasy 14, and a bunch of other things still on the horizon or that haven't been announced. So keep an eye out because we've got a lot of hype this year for a lot of games and a lot in store for Guild Wars 2 as well.
Nice. Yes.
Don't let
welcome.
anybody tell you Guild Wars is not for anyone, all ages. because we have people from every demographic
Including
represented.
the just born as well. the just born.
Just born, me, 1 foot in the grave. Yes. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's fine. Oh gosh.
I have to go to bed soon. It's almost my sleep
Yeah,
Yeah, can we
time.
wrap this up? I gotta
So
take a nap.
Let's hurry.
I gotta soak my feet later. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road.
Indeed. Hey, I've got I've got such bad sciatica. I'm literally sitting on a heat pad right now. So yeah, I'm feeling this age thing.
You know what? You're using the tools that you need to be comfortable. I'm in my
feels good.
ergonomic chair with like 3 different pillow props, my like arm brace.
Yeah,
See, look,
yeah,
we're
we're
right there with
living-
you, Deb. We're
This is so
living.
great. I love it.
Better to be over the hill than under it, people. Yeah.
Sometimes, well, I'm not going to go there.
Well,
It might be a bit early in the podcast for me to immediately dip into that. Okay, so welcome. If you are here for the first time, this is the Lightbringers Guild Wars 2 podcast. We do it on a Sunday when there's stuff to talk about. At the moment, there isn't a lot going on in Guild Wars 2, other than we're kind of waiting around for May. I'm not saying there isn't a lot for you to do or play in Guild Wars 2. There's a plethora of things for you to do. There's especially in-game stuff now as well, with raiding and stuff, when you can quick play and you can jump in if you're towards that part of the game. They added also a new boss recently in the last patch, but they're trying this thing where they're not actually adding story to each patch, so the last one felt a little bit less content heavy. So yeah, we're just kind of waiting for things, and we're also playing other games. Gives us a good opportunity to jump into other bits and bobs in other places. I'm not sure what that means.
True.
But I meant games and or other life stuff as we're all getting a bit older. We have other things that we need to do in our lives, and that's, you know, a thing with life and all. But otherwise, yeah, twitch.tv/JebroUnity if you also want to check out the past podcast episode, youtube.com/JebroUnity as well. I went back and then went forth and started to introduce myself again. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a question. How are you feeling about Guild Wars 2 right now? What are you up to in the game? Are you playing the game? Are you playing anything else? What are you up to? What are you doing? And just because it's a Guild Wars 2 podcast doesn't mean we don't talk about other games and our lives and things, because we're also hanging out. And I'm pretty sure after over 100 episodes or so, people actually give a shit about our lives, hopefully. So maybe we can talk about them.
I'm waiting for a comment that's like, "Oh, we don't care. Just Guild Wars 2, thank you." No, none of that live talk. I don't want that.
I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think I've ever seen a comment like that. I think the only comment I get is the one, and we don't have to have a long conversation about this, is the pronouns one, which is always the thing, and people give us shit for that, give me shit for that, and then I just slowly tell them to F off.
Well, like we give a shit for things that are of much more importance, and Guild Wars 2, which
That's right.
honestly I've been playing a lot of. I'm gonna be real. I've been playing a lot of
Good.
Guild Wars 2.
Cool.
We had the World Boss Rush event that was on, and honestly, that was fun. Like, it was great to just kind of jump in, run a bunch of stuff, do the achievement. I really like that they have been running these kind of rush events or like group events, the fractal event that we had with the new legendaries and with the LFG or the group finder. Like, that was such a breath of fresh air to just be able to like stand there and go, and a queue, and then just like go in immediately, not have to, ping people in the Discord or try to get a group together to go into fractals, or like, it was so much fun. So doing that, when they released stuff as well for the group finder, with the new kind of category of endgame raid encounters, if you will. I thought that was really fun. A few little bugs here or there, but like still just really great to get in and do that. So I've been working a lot of that stuff myself, and achievement collections for the portions that we have of Visions of Eternity. It definitely does feel like right now it's very quiet in the game. That's definitely a thing that I think folks feel, in the sense that there's not a ton of incoming content, which maybe is good in a sense, because at the same time, we've had things like Midnight come out for WoW, we've had major updates for other games. So in a way, I feel like this has kind of let people play those if they want, or take care of some IRL stuff, and then be excited when we get our next portion coming up.
Nice. Anyone else? Next. Similar question.
So, I haven't been playing a lot of Guild Wars 2, to be honest. I'm very much I play for the story. So I wait for the story content, and then I go in and I just hit it hard, and I don't stop until I fall out the other end of the story. That's kind of my bag. And I have been, but I do like a lot of the changes that they've put in. We've been waiting so long for the quick queues for Group Finder. It's something that I think that they should have had at the start. I'm really happy that they're kind of finding new ways to encourage people to go back and do older content, because a lot of the content in the game, it does feel very much evergreen, and it is beautiful. Now, I've been playing forever. I've been playing Guild Wars before it was Guild Wars 2, and so my mileage in the older content is going to be different from someone who's just come in. And I'm always very envious of new players who have just discovered the Guild Wars 2, because you've got a decade of fantastic story and environments to explore and things to collect, and it really does. And a lot of players will notice that this stuff that was 10 years old, you see elements of it filtering into games right now. Like all the flying changes in World of Warcraft have sprouted from Guild Wars 2. All the wardrobe features, the having an actual wardrobe feature in games like World of Warcraft, that literally came from Guild Wars 2. They copy pasted that, and I don't think that any game should copyright in game mechanics, a plague on your house if you do that. But I think it's such a treat for people to see where a lot of these ideas came from, and I think Guild Wars 2 is fantastic for kind of reinventing and reimagining and making things fantastic and wonderful for its player base. So although I'm not playing a huge amount at the moment, I still have a huge amount of love for the game and a huge amount of respect for the work that they've done and how they've innovated in the MMO space. But personally, I hit World of Warcraft very hard. I played it all. I absolutely adore it. I love the new features. The maps are beautiful. If you haven't played the latest expansion, I highly, highly recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful. They've reimagined Silvermoon City. It is glorious. So do jump in and have a play of that. And I've also been playing the weird little standalones. So I like VR gaming. I do my Beat Saber, but I've just played through a Ghost Story, which is a VR kind of room escape, a spooky detective type of experience. It was absolutely beautiful. And I'm also I'm still actually working on my own game, so I've got a lot of irons in the fire. But these things take forever. So
what kind of game is it? The one you're working? Can you say anything? Or
yeah, so I'm working on, it's a pixel art RPG, but it's got quite a limited scope because RPGs and a single person developing them, that is development hell. But it's a story of Ashurbanipal's library at the end of the universe, and you go through each section, and there's the narrative of his life through the story by uncovering different mechanics in the books, and its puzzles and its exploration and its narrative storytelling. But it's very, you have to be, oh, you're fucked. So yeah, Ashurbanipal was
awesome.
a real historical figure. And he had one of the first libraries in history, and there's a lot of cuneiform, which is one of the first writing systems. There's lots of cuneiform puzzles as well for people, but it takes a lot of work. So yeah,
it sounds like it. Yeah,
it's a lot. Cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Pray for me.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's something you're interested in as well, and you have a passion for. So it's really cool.
Well, I love games, mate. I love games, and I feel like I've spent so much time criticizing the devs that I should put on the hair shirt and birch myself and actually do the hard work to actually make one myself, and then see if it changes how I look at game development as well. When you're doing it yourself, maybe a bit more understanding.
I love that. Okay, cool. Damn, you got a lot going on. That's awesome. Well, yeah, you both have. Okay, so Engel. How about you? What's going on?
Yes, I'm doing good. I have been playing a lot of Guild Wars 2. I kind of fell into the quick play raid event and got a group of folks who are then like newer to raids, which is why a big reason why I was really excited about that event to begin with was because I felt like it was making it a lot more accessible and less intimidating for brand new people who've never done a raid encounter before in their life to jump in. So I kind of hit that week really hard, trying to encourage people who've never done it before to come run with me and some of my friends who we are not like pro gamers by any means, but we could still get through these encounters. So that was really fun, and that's kind of evolved into like a raid training, and now bringing people through emboldened modes and doing like an anything goes raid encounter night. So I'm doing 2 nights a week where I'm actually in raids, which I would never have said I would have done. Like a year ago, I would have laughed at your face. And now suddenly I'm organizing them. So it's been good and a lot of fun and a change for me and my community. But I'm really enjoying it and glad that ArenaNet threw that option in there, because I get people all the time now who are like, yeah, I'll give it a try. Which again was super hard to find, like, just a little bit ago. So it's been fun. Other than that, I've been deep diving into a game called Blueprints. I don't know if any of you have heard that game. I have lost my mind. I'm like 100 hours into it, and I keep real paper notes. This is my crazy girl notebook of like
doing that, like showing
all
their
of
notes.
I love it.
Yes, it's like a very interesting multi-level like puzzle game. If you're somebody who likes to figure out secrets and puzzles and mysteries, you will be hooked very quickly. It's awesome. So yeah,
good stuff.
Ooh.
Okay, I think this is the first time in my life where I'm not playing games as much as I have. Well, other than when I was traveling like around the world and living in other countries and stuff. Like this is the time where I'm like, life is busy. Being a therapist, the world is kind of wild right now, and that's been busy. And then after work, I'm going to the gym, working out more, and going swimming and trying to do stuff. And gaming has been hard. So I got myself a Steam Deck a while ago, so I'm playing games on my Steam Deck when I can. But yeah, I've jumped into Guild Wars 2 a bit recently. I actually went back. I kind of quit PvP for a few years because I was after commentating it for ages and the toxicity and stuff. I thought I'd jump back in. It still exists, but I think I just tried to play it in the more casual way with a different mindset of like, winning isn't important, even if I know someone shouldn't be doing the thing they're doing, and it makes me sad. So that was fun recently. Like getting into like the Stronghold map and the other new PvP map as well, and just playing casually and just making builds that are ridiculous and kind of going back to what I used to do, because I used to make build videos all the time. I used to know so much about balance and the combat, and like obviously I had to for commentating stuff, but like it just lost all of that because things just change and I don't do it anymore. So really just chilled gamer now, and I got really heavily into World of Warcraft again for a while, and I have the expansion, but my PC, my main machine is down right now, and I've got my laptop, but at the same time I'm like, I don't want to play on my laptop, I want to play on my main PC, so when I get time, so I'm kind of holding out for it. I did get to Silver Moon City, but that was it. And what else am I playing at the moment? I don't think I'm playing much else. Just actually like cell phone games in between sessions sometimes, just to be have a little bit of downtime. Like, and yeah, no, but it's I think it's just interesting to, as you go through life, you start to gaming becomes different because you get busy. Like like some of you have a family or you have other things going on, or like events, and then life and houses and moving and jobs and pets and all this other shit, partners, friends, which is good in and out of the game. But yeah, so it's been, I think, obviously with there being less new stuff to do in Guild Wars 2 for me, and which is kind of what Fornax was saying as a player. When you've done all the story and you're kind of up to date and you've got the gear you want and you've got the things you want, you don't necessarily have anything to quote unquote farm for because there's nothing you specifically want. You get to a place where it's like, well, I'm kind of just waiting again at the moment. But Guild Wars 2 is such a casual game that you can do that. You can just wander in and out. You're not really behind on gear and stuff. And sometimes, I think that's really, really good. But I think it can be to a detriment sometimes when, you don't have the things to continually get. So, why do people come back? And I think a lot of that is because of updates and stuff. So, when there isn't a significant amount of additional content that comes out in an update, it becomes an issue. But I don't think it's bad. I think what they're doing is good. I think taking the time is good to have a story that it feels more fleshed out and connected, so that when we get back for this next update, I think the expectations are going to be pretty high because they had more time. Which I don't know if they had, because it's just going to be potentially maybe just that amount of story packed into update 2.
Yes, I really am. I mean, I feel like the Visions of Eternity story has been really well received as a whole. Like every person I've talked to about it has been like, I really enjoyed this. This felt like I'm interested. I'm curious about what's going to happen. I find the characters to be compelling largely. We have this enigmatic pseudo villain now, right? Like who may not be a villain, and all of the things kind of going on where I think there's a lot of promise in the start of the expansion that I'm really hoping that with this kind of rebalancing of story in the second half they can deliver, and maybe we'll feel like this narrative, I think it has the potential to have more large scale impact than some of the narratives that we've had so far. Like maybe something big will happen at the end that kind of then gives us these new stakes that are further reaching than just like one expansion's villain rise fall little moment sort of thing. We'll see how it pans out, but it is interesting with this year-long expansion cycle. I feel like it is working well. I feel like they are being conscious of like, well, we need to do smaller events. We need to do these rushes. We need to add in other rewards. Like technically right now you could be working on all of the achievements. You could be working on the new legendary. You could be doing a lot of different things in game, even if we didn't get like a big story update. But I will agree that I feel like the year-long expansion for some reason does feel like the energy to engage with it is like much lower, where like people aren't as driven to like keep up with it or do stuff with it. And I'm not sure like what could change that would add more spice in during our year, or that would kind of keep the excitement going. But it does feel like there's like a lull that, I mean, it's good because we can do more real life things and other things, but the energy and hype doesn't feel like it sustains as well through like a year-long expansion release.
I think Elder Scrolls Online had this problem after a fair few years, which is why they've changed things up, because it becomes it's weird, isn't it? Because I think as human beings, especially like gamers, we have this desire to want to know that something is going to come out for an MMO, and when something doesn't come out for ages, we're all itching and really, really like kind of like complaining or whatever. Like we're all like, when's it coming out? The gate, like dead game, whatever. Like half of people say that. I don't say that. And then when you get when you get the information, you're like, here's a roadmap. Here's when the updates are coming out roughly. Here's when this is going to be a yearly expansion. It's like almost the other end of the scale, where you know the things that are coming out, and it's very planned and routine. And I'm like, is there an in between? Is there and does that feel better? And like, does this feel good? I'm still trying to work that out with Guild Wars 2, because with Elder Scrolls Online, it was just boring. It was just really boring. It's like, here's the expansion announcement at the beginning of the year. We know that they will be this, that, the other coming out. We know the dates. We know everything. The story's going to probably be amazing, but I don't know.
Think like
it's weird?
Do you think like the week long like bonus events they've been doing to kind of like get you engaged in other things while we are waiting is enough for that though. Like I feel kind of almost like it was intentional. Like we're just going to pack this time in with these other things. Have you revisit the dungeons? Let's do a PvP rush. Next week is a new player like push week. So you have all of these different other things to like concentrate on and kind of like view as your content for the week while you wait for story. But I'm curious because I mean, as a content creator, I enjoy these things. I can be like, oh, I'm going to plan a week with my community doing this, but it's as a like player who doesn't create content, is just there to play the game. Do you think that's enough to hold their attention until?
Quick chat, tell us what you're thinking. Also, Fornax, at times, I'm hearing a little bit of an echo from your end on Discord, just so you know.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's of other people when they're speaking. It might be coming through like your headphones into your mic or something. I don't know.
My apologies.
It's okay. It's okay. It's only a little one. It's just my my sound sensitivity is like I can hear it. Yeah, Rook, I think you were going to say something. Yeah.
Oh, no, just that, like, I think that's a really, really good question, Angle. Like, I think that's the question a lot of people are asking right now. And it's kind of funny because I feel like in other games, like, you know, right now in 14, there's been a lot of discussion about how people are taking extended breaks, you know? Meanwhile, in Midnight and WoW, everybody is like going ham. A ton of people are returned to the game. And, you know, it has a lot of energy because, of course, a new expansion just released. And it's funny because in Guild Wars 2, I feel like it doesn't feel really, really good or really, really bad, which is kind of the weird place where it's like, I'm glad we have these things to do. And I actually really love that they have been putting them in. I think it's smart. I think other games should do this too. I like that they even turned back to dungeons, which I was not expecting, and did that, which was great. And yet at the same time, I think for veteran players or players who are just logging into the game, they're not like, oh, hey, I can theme a whole week around this for my stream, right? I think it's tough because a lot of that content is stuff that they have run for 10 plus years now, right? Like it's stuff that they already have farmed excessively or already have done. And I think you have to give Guild Wars 2 some credit because they are giving good rewards for a lot of this and adding in the new achievements or the new systems like the group finder and things similar to that. It's really good and it does give new life and bring new players in, which is important. Yet I also feel like there is something more that could be here or that could be engaging players in like the current expansion. And I think that's kind of the thing that we just kind of have this big lull, it feels like, until we get to finish our expansion. So in the meantime, we're kind of just doing other things. And it kind of leaves you in this weird middle spot where it's like, oh, fine. But you don't necessarily feel like wildly compelled or excited or like, oh, Visions of Eternity has been such a wild ride. Oh man, they released this whole new map and it was crazy. Like it feels more like measured, like you were saying, Jeb, where it's kind of like, oh, cool. So I guess we'll just wait and the next thing will come out and sure, cool. All right. Like,
yeah. It's like, is it a really sad place? Is it a bad place to be as well, I guess? Sorry, go on, Fornax.
No, I was just gonna, so you cannot, if you think about an expansion like Midnight, every WoW expansion has that draw because it has the loot treadmill, right? So it is not just pretty gear. It is new stats. They've got a new class unlock for the Demon Hunter, which is like prologued in the story, which is wonderful. I love that. But I don't think you can underestimate, because they've been doing raids for so long and because the loot treadmill is so integrated into the narrative, what a draw that is for players, right? And because Guild Wars 2 does not have that loot treadmill, which in itself has pros and cons, right? It means I don't have to worry about the loot treadmill. I can go away, I can not play the game for 2 years, I can come back and I can go into, if I have reasonable, like, exotic gear, you can do raids. You don't need to. I mean, I used to say, like, you could have all the gear and no idea in World of Warcraft, but you cannot do that with Guild Wars 2. You have to actually know the raid mechanics, you have to go in, you have to be able to do it. It's about coordination. So if you care about that kind of thing, if it is about like skill and understanding boss mechanics, Guild Wars 2 is really like the sweet spot for like player skill. But what it means is that they have to really knock all that out of the park, because there isn't that loot treadmill there to kind of like, I want more power and I want more power and I want more power and number go up must be good, right? Which is a gamer thing. And I also think with the if you think about how game mechanics work, and you think about, for example, like engagement on YouTube, and it is all about that surprise mechanic, that not knowing what you're going to get and getting something great unexpectedly. That is like what our brains want. We kind of hone in on that, and that's how terrible developers make really addictive games. If you look at like Genshin Impact, which is the best game I'll never ever recommend anyone else to play, that surprise mechanic that they have with the wishes and the thing. You can
not waste. Sorry, engage.
Yeah. Well, so my daughter, like, I play it with my daughter, right? And she has blocked. She will not let me give them any like credit card information. I am not allowed to put my credit card information in there. She knows what a sucker I would be for it. I have been grounded by my own daughter, so I'm allowed to play with her with the game, but I am not allowed to give them any money. But if you think about how they do it, that's how they get players in, right? They have that surprise mechanic. They have that draw, and I think that with all the information and all the kind of steady state stuff coming out, I like it, you like it, we can make content around it, we can do our schedules. But in terms of like interest in an attention economy, which we have everywhere across the internet, you need to have like those surprise big things to kind of like slap people across the face, draw their attention in for the community, because everything is going on, everything everywhere all at once. WoW is doing this and 14 is doing that, and then we've got FanFests coming up and everyone is pulling for players and gamers' attention. And so it's really hard, especially for like a boutique developing team like that Guild Wars 2 has. It's not a massive, gigantic place, is it? They're not, I mean, it's not. It's a Ford, it's not a Ferrari, right? They don't have the money of 14. Sure. They don't. Do you know what I mean? They don't have the subscription money for WoW, and Rook knows all about that WoW money. You know, darling, you earn every penny. But yeah, so I think that they need to have, and I think that's maybe what the Rush events are trying to do. They're trying to have these kind of like bursts of surprise mechanic to draw people in. But I don't know. I don't think they're showing enough value. I don't think they're giving us enough to do it.
You don't get you don't get like a ridiculous amount of things from it. Like, you know, like you don't get this epic loot from it. It's just kind of skins and some backline keys, not keys. Actually, if you got Blackline keys from it, that would be better. That would add up.
Well, that would, because gambling, amazing. But you think about how many eyes the Fractals Rush got when they actually opened the Fractals and they put in a new legendary in. Everybody played the holy shit out of that until they got their legendary, and then they fell off, right? Yeah. So if they want people to come back in, they need to give those big rewards, I think, to like hold the community's attention.
It's hard to the big, like, what do you get? Because if you give a legendary every time, like, people are just going to have the legendaries, and the legendaries are going to be so not like as, I guess, you know, maybe special. But they are kind of frequent now. Whether or not they're less special, weapons can still be very, very special in those specific things, right? But
maybe the key would be something like, with the big expansion drop that they have or something, having either more or like multiple longer term things you can work towards. Like you have the legendary, sure, you can go through and do achievements if you want, but I think back to like End of Dragons and how many people had these like checklists, like, oh, next I'm going to get my siege turtle, then I'm going to do this and this and this. So like maybe if there were more things that kind of upfront had been there as stuff to add to your, like, this is stuff I can do, this is stuff I can work on until the next portion, or even if alongside this they had opened up maybe like a collection of side quests or something, like with the last patch. I know that they're trying to condense their writing to be able to deliver the like biggest bulk and most impactful bulk of story between these two major portions of the expansions. But even if there was a way to like prepare something that would give folks some additional goals to work on related to the expansion, because it's a little tough when you just are releasing like a couple maps at the start, a couple at the end. It's not as though you're working with more limited space and more limited things that people will run more and then I think get tired of faster because they just have these like portions. But maybe if we had some other goals or other things to work on, it might be something that would give people a little variety in addition to the rush events and other stuff going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's... Just trying to think why. I mean, I think the fact that Engel's got this raid thing going, it makes like I want to go into that. So like being on Twitch, I think, and engaging in communities and having what is the most engaging thing about or should be the most engaging thing about MMORPGs is the community that you're creating or part of. I think because I've sustained that maybe less so myself, that's been harder to be like, oh, I want to get in there to play with people because I don't know as many people playing the game as I used to, because the community is a bit, even just for our streamer stuff is a bit more spread out. Just because of the things they like and because they've gotten older and they've started to have lives and like families and like, I'm not saying you haven't got a life if you're on the MMORPGs playing games with your friends, that's great. But, people disappear a little more. And I think it's also interesting as you get older, it's harder to make friends. I think generally for most people because you're not in school anymore. But it's... I still feel like in like World of Warcraft and stuff, and Fornax has talked about this a lot, and I think we've talked about it a lot as well, like the achievements being things which are very... They exist in the game. They exist in the game, especially when you're doing little side stories and then you see the little icons popping up on the map and stuff, and you're like, oh, there's this whole storyline and there's this whole like potential reward and the story is interesting. And I still think that if they literally had like kind of what Fornax was saying before, like the kind of exclamation points or whatever above their head a little bit more, and you see the availability of all of these kind of side quests in a much more blatant way, you just have people clearing that shit just because it exists in the world and they want to get rid of it. Like, because that's what I'm like, right? But then I get
really
into
good.
it. And, oh yeah, like absolutely.
The Janther Wilds expansion had this amazing animal heist, which was so fun. If you haven't done that achievement, it's like such a wild romp of a side quest, and I like absolutely love it. So yeah, I agree. Bringing that to the forefront, I think, would also kind of help, or adding in something that's more like a dedicated questing journal, and then maybe like tying that into some greater rewards or something that would culminate, or if you like did all of those, maybe it would unlock another, like a final quest chain, or there'd be some kind of bigger reward behind it. Could kind of be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so for me, like, when I log into something like 14, if I've been away a while, it will throw me into the little Sprout group, and it will kind of, you've been away too long. You need to talk to these people over here because you're clearly not going to remember what to do. And I'm like, okay. And then when you log into World of Warcraft and you've been away for a while, it wants to throw you into this. They've got a new like starting zone thing with Jaina and Thrall, and it's quite nice and it's all very lovely voice acted. But it also has an adventure book in World of Warcraft. So it pops up and it shows you what's current, what's happening, what's going on now. You can click a button, it will automatically take you, it will open your quest log, it will push you, yes, you need to go and talk to this guy, and he will show you exactly where you need to go. Or, Squire John needs you to, go and pick some plums or something. It hopefully not his, and it's just but it holds your hand. It goes, friend, you've been away for a while, lots of things have happened, here you go. And I think that something like that would be nice. And also, like, there's lots of variety. I mean, the thing is, WoW is such a strong MMO. It is even now the genre leader, I think, in Western MMOs. And they have such a handle on wrangling their cats to get them to go where they need to go. Do I think that they fall down in story? Yes. I mean, I've been playing WoW since it launched in 2006, right? And I would love, as a player who's played every expansion, every story, I would love for them to have an overarching Final Fantasy XIV arc narrative that will take me from the very start, from the Abbey right through. This is on Alliance side, of course, because I'm a Care Bear. Right the way through to the latest expansion, so that you can experience the whole narrative arc. And they're kind of doing this. They've got some mechanisms in with the Lore Walker Cho, and it's very, very nice. But really, I would love for that. So for me, the perfect upgrade for WoW would be a proper narrative arc that a streamer could play from start to finish and just take you right through the story. That is fantastic. But in Guild Wars 2, we have that. We have that personal story. You can play it as many times as you want. You can go back into it. I love that. I think that's one of the strongest things. But I think the weakest thing is the fact that they don't have the traditional hooks, and they don't have enough raid content to keep people coming back on a regular basis. I know that they're starting to change that now, but it's those hooks and what it's known for. And I think that the game has been such a variety game for so long that it doesn't have that one super special thing. Like 14 is story. If you want a story, you go to 14, and it also has fantastic like dance raids, right? The spectacle. But I think Guild Wars 2 is the cozy MMO, and I think that it's never really specialized enough. Does that sound unreasonable? I don't know.
I don't think your opinion is unreasonable. Yeah.
No, you're totally reasonable for that. I mean, I think Guild Wars 2 is known a lot of times for its open world and some of its innovation, the fast combat, right? Builds, stuff like that. However, I think you bring up a lot of excellent points in the sense that when I think about, like, it can be overwhelming going back to WoW. Like, I'm not gonna even lie. You have the little adventure book, but even so, you're like, what? Where am I supposed to go? Who's what? What vendor?
Yeah,
where do I like when you're coming in, right?
The new player
and especially yeah, right? And like especially if they have reset everything with talents and everything else, and you're like, God, now I have to figure out whatever build I'm supposed to do. I just logged into the game and I have no idea. So like it can be
Icy Veins, people just go to Icy Veins. Yeah. It's fine. Just go there.
However, when I think about it though, and then I think about like Guild Wars 2. So like we have the release at the start of the expansion. And then I kind of go through like, what are things that I could be doing? Like in Guild Wars 2, they do focus the open world content. So we have like map exploration, achievements, map metas. Usually your relics or your legendaries are going to be tied into that. So like that's stuff that you'll kind of run and sort of synergize together. But there's not a lot of other stuff that comes as like content in the expansion, you know, like WoW has delves all over like on the maps where you can go and do these like little mini dungeons and then you can push them up and progress them.
Such a good addition to that game,
right? Like they have the praise system, which is something right? Like delves are amazing, and they're working on labyrinths as well that'll be these basically Guild Wars 2 dungeons, but like these massive large scale exploration delves that you can do with friends or by yourself. They've got the prey system they introduced with Midnight, where you can make the open world more dangerous by making yourself a target for a foe that will spring a trap upon you at some point as you explore.
Gotta play it.
They have like all these things that you can do. So it feels like, I think that's part of what I've loved the most about certain Guild Wars 2 maps. Like, I'm going back to End of Dragons again. Like, Seitang Province had these, like, that little ghost puzzle mini dungeon with, like, the bosses and stuff.
Yeah.
And
So good.
Echovald had the mini dungeons throughout, some of which were kind of buggy, but, like, they were still really cool and, like, fun to discover and do. And I think that's maybe something that I feel has been missing from the year-long expansion cycle, that when I think about what's come out since the expansion released, we obviously have features, and I think they've been doing a good job with those features. But there's not a lot that I can just be like, oh, I'll go on this map and I'll get 3 other people together and we'll just like run some delves and see how high we can get. Or I'll go to, like, it doesn't quite feel like they have some additional components that are giving you more replayability while you're kind of waiting or farming stuff or rotating through content for like the next expansion portion.
Yeah.
Engel, how are you? Oh,
So
sorry,
much
go on.
variety.
Yes.
No, I was
yes.
going to say, I'm just thinking about the actual amount of variety of questing and additional content of World of Warcraft is crazy, because they have all the open world quests as well that you can just run into and fall into, and you get rewards for it, and it is a continuous kind of, they have that kind of perfect keep your attention, keep you in game. That I think that's what Guild Wars 2 is missing. They don't have that. I think they're almost there, but I think it's also the repetitive nature of it. So the like the open world quests in World of Warcraft, they'll change from week to week, so you're not continuously doing the same thing. But when you're on, say, the new map on the shore, then it's always the bar quest, and the bar quest is what you get. Yeah, it's always this other quest. That's what you get. There isn't as much variety because they're very tied to the story. Whereas WoW quests are more diverse, and some of them are super like Billy Basic shit. But it's because it's different, right? It's different. It gives rewards. It gives loot. It gives gold. They're very generous with their rewarding system in World of Warcraft because they can be.
They
Whereas
don't
I
give you
feel
that much
like
gold. That's rubbish. The gold rewards are bad. You get like 72 gold and random numbers. The gear rewards are sure great, but no, the gold rewards are awful.
I'm a cheap date. What can I
Sorry.
say? Yeah.
I was like, no.
I'm easy to please. I'm poor in every single game that I play. I don't have a fucking brass farthing in any of
You've
them.
been playing
so
for 20 years. You should be rich.
No, man. I spend it all on transmogs, mate. It's not good, and I've just like my house looks fucking fantastic though.
I really want to get.
Yeah. The housing is amazing in WoW. Although at the same time, they've also added in that new Hearthsteel cash system, which is egregious. So it's like, it's interesting. Like hearing us all talk about it. On one hand, I do think I would like to feel a little bit more tipped towards I'm really engaged and really excited throughout the year for this expansion. I think, however, with like the resources they seem to have, I think that they are doing well. I think the story we have gotten has been enjoyable. I think there are things to work towards. And it makes me just like wonder, does Guild Wars 2 have to be a game that is trying to constantly get you to play it? Like, maybe not. Maybe design mentality wise, they're just like, hey, you know what? Like, we're here. You can play it when you want. And what we've got, we can release at these paces, and hopefully you enjoy it as it comes out. And then you are free to do other things. However, I think that you brought up such a good point, Fornax, with the idea of like the attention economy right now, right? Which is that as players, there are a lot of games in the space, like gachas, like Genshin, like all of these games that are fully focused on constantly hoarding attention economy for players, where like there's always something that you're supposed to be doing. There's a whole new season coming around the corner. There's this new thing that you're going to get. There's this like limited time event. You have to go farm it so you can get currency, so you can spend less money, but still end up spending more money on this gacha, right? Like, so it's something where I think that is putting a lot of pressure, and it's always been a pressure in MMOs, but I think it is putting more pressure on MMOs to be like, as a player, do we need to be constantly engaged, or should a game allow us space that we can structure our lives around it a bit more? We can play in shorter periods. We don't have to always be involved. It's hard to say because I think a lot of times we gravitate towards, yes, I want always to feel like I'm connected to these games, but is that necessary? I don't know.
I find that thought interesting because that's kind of been running through my head as you all have been talking about it, which I appreciate your perspectives because I have not played WoW in like up forever. So I'm learning a lot about about the compare and contrast between the two.
Which is also very hard for us to do because obviously Guild Wars 2 and ArenaNet is not as huge as well. So just in case people are watching this and they're like, oh, these people are talking about like, you know, comparing things, we're just opening conversation. We know that ArenaNet does not have the same money and time and commitment.
But it's still interesting to hear like what's out there and where the game could possibly move to, just considering what other folks are doing. But in thinking about the attention subject, though, if we're talking, because there is so many games out there vying for your attention, there are other MMOs who are putting out content that we know players are going to need to split their time between. They're releasing this content for WoW, and I think ESO recently did something as well, but like it's coming kind of in this lull for Guild Wars 2. So while there might be players who are going to play that content in other games, are they timing things out where when it is important that we have player engagement, the players are paying attention? So this next release, coming up in May, are like, my hope is that they're going to work to try to pull people back as we near that timeline. But I also kind of was thinking like Guild Wars 2 is it plays like a story for me. And even when you're reading like a book, you're going to have highs where you're like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome and I can't put my book down. But in order to have that, you need the contrast of like, this is a very relaxed period of time. So I've been kind of like, while I do think we could do more to like have more player attention just like all the time in general, because I think this game is awesome and it's so just like kind of under the radar almost sometimes, where I think it deserves more love than it gets. But I do also appreciate that maybe it's not such a focus all the time, in order to hopefully bring more folks when it is important for them to be there, if that makes sense. So I not that that's necessarily the right way to think about it. I'm not sure, but your thought, Rook, was kind of like lining up with that. Do we need that in order to make the highs hit harder, you know?
I think you're both right. I think that so it costs £109 a year for me to play World of Warcraft, just for the subscription, and whatever the expansion, I got all the bells and whistles because that's just how I roll. I've got the collector's edition of every World of Warcraft expansion in a box, right? That's just this is my thing, and £21 for the expansion, £21 for Visions of Eternity. That's it. That's all. You give them £21 or $25, and you have a year's worth of content. You have new maps. You have all these things. There's no subscription, so bang for your buck. I mean, Jesus, you can't go to the cinema for 20 quid. You one night of entertainment. You try and go out and have a nice meal for 20 quid, right? I mean, you're pushing it, right? So I think you get a huge amount for the money. So I think that they are punching above their weight for what they're asking people to pay for. And I think it's because the game is so good that we are comparing it to the juggernauts, right? To these massive hulking companies with that have budgets that the devs could only dream of, right? So I think it's a testament. And you think about this like boutique development house influencing and changing development in all these massive juggernauts. That is an astonishing thing, right? So, and it's a testament to the game that we love. And I also think that it's actually like, what you were saying is so true, that it's great that we don't have to play it all the time, that we don't have to feel like we're missing out, that it isn't trying to grab our attention and grab us by the short and curlies and drag us away from our lives and our existence like TikTok does. And it's like fucking Hypno Frog on your phone, isn't it? It just like sucks you in, and then you're like, why the fuck did 2 hours? Toad, sorry. And I haven't watched Futurama in a while, but but you're like, where the fuck did 2 hours go? But and it's kind of, and that's the thing, right? As a developer, as I'm taking it seriously and going into game development. I don't want to make a game where the player has to pay, like for like microtransactions. I don't want to make a game loop that they feel compelled and addicted to. I want them to enjoy it. I want them to feel compelled because it's a good, interesting story. It's beautiful environments. I don't want to play with their brain chemistry to drag them into a game and then like pick their pocket. And I think a lot of games do that. I think they're fucking disgusting for doing that. And most of the time, the devs on the ground, the people who are actually making the game, don't want to do that. But it's the people who monetize the game that do that. So I think we can all be thankful that, although I don't particularly like the gem store for some of the stuff that it does, I think it's one of the fairest like payment models that there are in gaming. And the fact that they have been able to restrain the financial bots who are like, make number go up is incredibly admirable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially given the fact that just recently we had this whole interview come out with Jeff Kaplan from the Overwatch team, for anybody who doesn't know, with like Blizzard. And he was talking about the fact about why he left the game, because for a long time he was a huge figurehead for Overwatch and was such like a pivotal point for folks. And in this interview, he talked about the fact that apparently like the very, very high ups, like, again, it's not like the developers on the ground a lot of the time, but these higher ups were saying like, you have to make this much money for us in this quarter, or if you don't, we will make you fire 1,000 employees. And it was this like constant thing where they were holding it over him, where like, I will fire people, we will make you fire people unless you earn this much money for us. And so when people started to see this development shift towards things like, wow, it seems like Overwatch is a cash grab. Wow, they're not delivering on the other content they promised for Overwatch 2. Wow, they're just churning out more skins. Behind the scenes, a lot of that was because of this pressure from these like high ups in the corporation and shareholders to just churn out money at the detriment of the game or at all cost, above all else, right? The thing you have to focus on if any of you want to keep your jobs or if you want to have the teams that you need is that you need to churn out this money first, and then whatever's left over can go towards the rest of your development. And that's like a very real environment that we live in. Even companies that are doing good things, like, Midnight and stuff, right? Like we see that with WoW. They still have this corporate mindset right now that we're also seeing lay off or get rid of entire game teams, shut down studios, because even though they made a hit game, for whatever reason, they decided we're going to axe you so that our numbers look better for shareholders this year, or things like that. So all of that to say, the fact that Guild Wars 2 has remained a game that has not put in additional systems like this, that in fact has been giving us additional things like for free, like the Wizard's Vault. Now you can get Black Lion Trading Company keys from it. You can exchange and like get gold from the Wizard's Vault, and you can exchange that gold and get gems to buy stuff in the cash shop, right? Like, Guild Wars 2 has stayed very fair in those regards. And, there was a comment in chat from Metagon, thank you, talking about the fact that Visions of Eternity does still have like a lot of stuff in it. So don't let us, our conversation or discussion about how can we expand player interest negate that, because I'm still working through achievements. I'm still working through a lot of the side quests. I'm still working towards the legendary. So we do have to give them a huge amount of appreciation for what they do and how they've kind of taken a line. And then I think the big question, and I'm sure it's one they deal with all the time, is just what do we do with the limited resources we have? Because we don't have this huge base of money and income and other things that are coming in. And I think that like there are areas they can keep refining, but I agree in the sense that like it's kind of nice to have a game that isn't constantly trying to squeeze you for attention, time, and money. Overall,
Yeah. It's having, and that's the thing, right? So we like Rook and other people are saying we're balancing the fact that we know there's tons of stuff in the game that is available for many players, especially if you're a new player and a current player. But I thought, hey, I'm just going to look at the Steam chart graph and see where it's going, because it's a good indicator of player retention. And actually on like April of last year, like Guild Wars 2 started to go up. Like I didn't know there were this many people playing on Steam actually. But if you have a look back into kind of late 2025, and slowly but surely it's falling a little bit, right? Now, obviously it's the start of the year, it's just the way it is. It's not like a huge indicator, but it's started to trail a bit since the last update, like more so than it has since like July last year. And the change is that we didn't get the story, maybe, or something like that. But like saying that's changed since July last year isn't a really huge deal, right? It's not even a year. So we can't even look at the same stats because we haven't had a year full worth of content in the same way. So it's not really very fair. But like it's not it's just interesting to just see that kind of trend, to see that between February 2nd and today, like 2,000 less people, 2,500 almost less people are playing the game on Steam. And there's got to be a reason for that, and the reason probably is the reasons that we're talking about right now, right? Like the retention is different, and it's not been like that, I don't think, since maybe mid last year. But I think the things they're trying to do are good, and yes, they can't compete with these other MMORPGs. If you think about all of the other MMORPGs that exist, there's WoW, Elder Scrolls Online, Black Desert Online, those three there, you're like, those studios are way bigger than ArenaNet. Not just like a bit bigger. Like they're way bigger. There's way more money there. And what they do with their time and what they're doing with the amount of people they have, as well as the fact they have like focus on, all of these different systems and other things going on likely at ArenaNet because of what we already know. And the fact that they've just redone kind of Guild Wars, and like if maybe I need to go and check the Guild Wars population as well. You've got a whole other game that's just been kind of remastered, remastered to a degree.
Reforged.
There you go.
There it is.
If I look at Guild Wars Reforged, okay, there's not that many people playing. But like, on Steam anyway, most people don't have it through Steam. But like, it's had a steady kind of, player base. This is about 1,000 people-ish. But there's a whole other game to go and look at as well. That's it as well.
And they're still showing love and supporting it. These are good people. They deserve.
Yeah.
I think for the morals alone, and for the fact that they've never thrown the LGBTQIA community under the bus, they're not going to do that. Yeah, and they're front and center. And if we don't get a wedding at some point, I am going to revolt.
We better get that
riot.
Yeah,
we do have to get that wedding. Yeah.
No, it's. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, finish.
They deserve love. No. They just deserve our love. I think. I love games. I love game development. I want it to be a viable business model, but I don't think that it has to be number go up every time. And no. I think shareholder profit is going to be the end of our... So like the Mayans, whose elites crushed their society, and then it was, then we discovered it like 1,000 years later in the forest. I think that's what's happening to our civilization, that we cannot bear the weight of the parasite class that is just crushing everybody underneath. And it's also destroying art and culture, and it makes everything every time I make something for one of my friends, they go, why don't you do this for a living? Why don't you make money on making the things that you make? And I'm like, I do this because I love it. It does. Not everything has to be a hustle. Can we do things because we love them? And can we make things because we love them? And even when you're making a fair price, let's not make our player base, our customer base, a mark. right? Let's not have a casino fucking mentality. Let's have a respect and love for what I think is one of the best art forms that humanity has ever made. I've never been more shaped and my mind changed about things than when I've played Final Fantasy XIV. Right? And I've played through the story, and you see the hardship and the suffering and the pain of war, and it gives you more compassion for the people who you're fighting against as well. And that kind of thing, walking a mile in someone's shoes, seeing the suffering and the joy and the pain of existence painted in a way where it strips away your personal biases and it gives you a completely new look at life. And I think that's invaluable, especially now as the parasite class is trying to divide and conquer. So I think we need to come together as like a gaming community, support boutiques, developers like Guild Wars 2 and indie developers as much as we possibly can. And, you know, push the bigger people, like WoW got pushed by its community to do better and to change. And when it's finally started listening to its community, it actually started to surge again with its population. So we have the power, right? We have the power of the purse. And we can push for what we want.
It's true. I mean, I love, no. I mean, honestly, I love your statement. I loved all of your statements. Everything was right. Everything was fire. Everything was great. But I think something that really stood out to me is the idea that, like, you're right. Games change us. They shape us. They form us. Like the experiences we've had in any game, whether it's the story of 14 or it's all of the adventures, the things you've tackled, the worlds you've explored in Guild Wars 2 with people, right? A moment in your life where you felt really weak, and then you stepped into the shoes of the commander and you were like, you know what? No, I'm strong. Like, I can overcome anything. All of those moments, I think, or if they change our perspective on something or connect us to something that before we considered to be so outside of us, but like now we have a story, we have a thing we've experienced, we've had a world that we have come to know and people that we love within that world that are characters or players. I think it can open the door to so many things. And the idea that, like, we can just love something, that it doesn't have to have an exchange. It doesn't have to have some kind of, here is the reward in your hand, here is the money that you've earned. It's something that I think is really important. And as we kind of talked today about, like, what are we doing? Are we playing Guild Wars 2? Are we doing other stuff? I mean, I think it's more important than ever to follow our hearts and to listen to what we love and to give that worth, right? Like, if right now there's not a lot of new stuff in Guild Wars 2, but you want to play Guild Wars 2, like, take that love and go do something. Like, you can run around, you can explore stuff, you can take screenshots, you can, whatever it is, it doesn't have to just be something that has some fixed goal in mind, right? You can try to uncover every single thing on the map just for the joy of it. You can try to do all of the achievements. You can go in, do the rushes, whatever it is, right? I literally saw people in the rush event yesterday. They had like a squad and they were running gold giveaways in game, but like trivia questions. So like in the squad, a trivia question would pop up, and then if you got it right, they'd send you 2 gold. And they were just doing that while everybody was just like running boss rush, you know?
That's awesome.
So like there's stuff to discover and love that doesn't have to always be like a direct exchange of what am I getting for this. And maybe right now that's the thing, you know, do right now what the things that bring you joy, but also like give feedback. Yes, 100%. I think there's something to be said about how some of these systems can be tweaked and as we keep going forward, but also just like open, maybe we all need to just open ourselves up to the possibility of just engaging with games because we want to and because we love them, and then it's okay. Like if we spend a lot of time in them or a little bit of time in them, it's fine either way.
It really kind of is like a game where you can get what you put into it. I think that's like really magical to hear that, like, just as squad leaders decided to do like gold giveaways. Like anybody could do that, and anybody's got like a mentor tag, you know, they could throw up. It doesn't take anything like super special if you want to engage or build community in the game. I love that.
Yeah, it's so,
true.
It's such a wholesome community.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I just wish that like there's so many things that I just wish there were more resources for, because while we are kind of like taking a break from, VOE, like story content, map content, and things like that. The things that they have done in the in between have been really cool. But then I think like it wouldn't be sustainable to try to do these things like all at the same time either. So I just appreciate that there is stuff still like going on at all times, and some of these like old systems or things that have been around forever are getting looked at again in the meantime. But it is just kind of a sad state of our of like tech in general. Everybody's running like spread so thin right now, and the corporate focus across tech is just like, how can we slim down and budget, make more money, earn more profit, show shareholders that they have these things. And that's why I think like we've talked about some of these gaming studios who have had somewhat successful games are being shut down or are facing massive cuts and layoffs and things like that. And while ArenaNet, I can't claim to know what their business structure is like on the inside, but it seems like they've kind of coasted through some of that that's happening right now. It doesn't mean that they've totally escaped that and won't face that in the future either. So, it's unfortunate because it is cutting into this art form. Yeah. And I don't want to go down like an AI rabbit hole, but I think that also has something to do with it. And I've got a lot of feelings about it. As I'm sure a lot of you do.
Fucking into the ocean with it.
Yes.
God damn.
It's shifting the whole landscape, and it's just really unfortunate. I wish there was more of that, more resources.
It's also wrong. It's also fucking wrong. It's also absolutely fucking wrong. It's the enshittification of every single thing that it touches. If you take legal advice from an AI agent, it is 40% of the time it is incorrect. You may as well go and just Google it yourself and read the fucking article. It is a absolute fucking colossal waste of time. This stuff came out of CERN. So CERN has a database, and it uses these AIs to do summaries. And a group of tech bros who pretend to be erudite and break things and move fast bullshit. They took this and they monetized the product. And as they take over the internet, and as bots are writing all of the articles, and then the bots are referencing the bots, and it is just shit all the way down. It is just shit. It doesn't work properly. It doesn't work properly.
I mean,
and the fact that they're putting it in games now is fucking, and that filter thing is just the fucking nightmare fuel. That AI filter that they're putting over the faces of all the Jesus.
The NVIDIA
DLS. It's
gosh.
terrifying.
Oh my
I know.
God, Jesus Christ.
I mean, like, this is the landscape that games exist in right now, and that we all exist in right now. Like, even as my spouse looks for a job, just seeing how quickly everything has switched to AI. How are you using AI? What are you going to do with AI? And then like the irony is that when you get in, because my spouse is a programmer, when you get into the interviews, they're like, for so many of these places, they'll be like, oh, well, we expect you to use AI. How will you use it? Tell us about it. But then when it comes to the actual test, they're like, we're going to monitor your computer because we want to make sure you aren't using AI to program. And there's this moment where it's like, so you realize that just using AI to program without actually having a strong structural base behind this is a problem and is not something that you would want. Yet everything is pushing this. And in games, we see it too. 14 Square Enix, I guess Square Enix more so, laid off an enormous amount of QA. Almost
the
like,
QA
as far as I know,
is happening in
almost all of their
QA.
QA. Because they claimed they want to replace them with AI. So it's something, again, where like, we have not felt it in Guild Wars 2 yet, right? As far as we know, we don't know what kind of conversations are happening behind the scenes, but it is something that is affecting people's mindset, mentality, their own connection to things, their creativity, their worries about the changing world and in our environment. So like, I don't know. It's tough when you have companies and pressure and places that are going like, hey, you have to use these things. You have to churn out more than ever. We have to earn more than ever. We have to try to cut costs as much in human labor as possible, even if that's the total detriment of our society and world, then it's like it's hard to stand up to it. But I'm grateful that right now Guild Wars 2 seems to have, again, maintained their staff, their team, their game, the integrity in those regards. Because no matter what, if we don't have as much content as other games or things, I always feel like the devs that do work on it care so much about what they have done and what they've put out, and try to deliver what they can and everything that they can, which is, I think, important.
Such as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think that's where everything's going to head. I think that there's the vast majority of developers and the vast majority of artists and like people who are not kind of red pilled see this for what it is, which is just a money grab. AI is just like automated theft, right? It doesn't respect copyright, and it's also, you can't use it to make anything novel because you can't copyright it. They've just put it through the courts again. If you don't make it, if a person doesn't make it, you can't hold copyright. Therefore, everybody can use what you've sucked up off the internet, right? So it fucking chaps my balls. It really does. Sorry. I hate it so much. And I think I think the people who reject it now are going to be the leaders of the industry going forward, because I think it's just shit. It's just rubbish. And I think that's it. It's just shit. It's not even good in like the medical scene, because like I thought, oh, maybe AI could be great in medical, like it'll be able to help people identify tumors quicker. What it does is it stops doctors being able to do it, because as soon as you get a computer doing it for you, you lose the ability to actually properly diagnose these things. So it is just how it is at the moment. It's not fit for purpose for anything, and it doesn't help anybody. Yeah, no, sorry. So I'm on a fucking soapbox now.
I'm with you.
I opened it. Sorry.
I'm with you and more because I work, at least half my client load are in tech, and probably half of those folks are out of work because of AI. So I hear it all the time, and I know all about it, and I know all about also the other things and therapy specifically, and how AI is very dangerous and actually causing a lot of death. And toxicity, and especially, feeding kind of a male toxicity as well is really, really awful. It is a conversation probably which is way too big for our podcast. Like, I am very interested in it, as well as, supporting artists and people that create things that are real. But it's a really insidious, toxic, kind of addicting thing for a lot of people who don't have access to a lot of services. So they use AI in a way to help them, because companies rely on poor folks with less means to pay the bills for them, because they need information and they need something, because something is better than nothing. And so access is unfortunately misinformation, and it's a really
scary,
horrible kind of going around and round and round. It's difficult. It's really
I think it kind of goes to show, right, that kind of like we were talking about earlier, now more than ever is important as people that exist in this world, but also as gamers, to take stock of like what input we are taking, right? Yeah. What are we turning to? What are we doing? What are we expecting from it? How does it genuinely make us feel? How does the time spent equate? Like, is this something that's truly building us up? Is this something that is insidiously tearing us down? What are we doing for the sake of things we love? What are we doing because we feel like we have to do them for some arbitrary reason? And I think that as gamers too, so much of this comes in. How do we balance our lives? Like, Jeb, you were talking at the start of the podcast about like, oh, things are kind of hard right now because as I get older, I have a lot of things to juggle in my life. But I think it doesn't even just have to be an age thing, right? Like, as you start to develop more of an awareness of the entire tapestry of your life, you start going, how do I fit all these images together? What do I put together? Like, do I need to go to the gym?
To you,
right? Like, what's important? Like, how do I support my mental health? How do I support my physical health? How do I meet demands in society, like earning money? And then how do I find refuge? How do I find enjoyment? How do I find things that are a part of me that speak to me that I'm doing because I enjoy them. And I think it is really important for us all to like take stock of that in this day and age. Turning to sources or things like, ChatGPT might be convenient in the sense that there's something there that can seem to respond to you. But like you were saying, Jeb, it can be so destructive. We've even seen it in our own family with those who are having mental health struggles and who turn to something like that. And it like sends you down this bonkers rabbit hole, like that can be so detrimental. So the same goes for our games, right? Like as a big summary, you should be engaging with things that bring you joy. And sometimes that means that we have to kind of cut some of the other noise in our life and really figure out how to engage with things in a way that we love. And I think it's the same with Guild Wars too. Like whether you're taking a break right now or you're diving into the game, there's probably something there that you can find, that you can do, that you can enjoy. But if there's other areas in your life too right now that you're like, I need to support this, I need to do this, I need to get out, I need to, whatever it is, right? It's important to take stock of that. And it's hard when we live in this environment, I think, to find where our peace is really at and how to really build ourselves up. But like, it's important to do, even as gamers. Games can be huge for us and helping us, but our real lives too need balance. So figuring it all out, I think, is a point that everybody has. And especially when there's patch content, lol, you're like, now I'm thinking about many things I wouldn't think about if I had a brand new expansion in front of me.
Yeah, also the distraction of that. But like, what is the distraction? And it really harks into what therapy is really about as well. And if you don't know, the reason why I hark on about therapy is like, I am a therapist in the world, a mental health therapist. Sorry. If you're watching this for the first time, because I believe we have a lot of first time people. We've actually got like 43 viewers in chat, so I'm really glad that you're coming out today. It's this why anyone goes to therapy other than to find an authentic self, no matter what it is. It's always comes down to that, and that kind of comes down to what the meaning of life is. I think I know it's pretty easy for me in terms of knowing what that is for people. It's just finding out who you are and what your joys are and what connects you to the world and people. That is the meaning of life. It's pretty easy, everyone, but getting there isn't necessarily easy. And when we're engaging in so many different things that do not feed that, we will inevitably be unhappy, or not knowing of what we need in our lives to make us feel more connected, not complete, because I don't believe that's ever true. Because there's always things to be curious about, right? And that's where curiosity is the key. Like, I drum this into my clients and my supervisees and people that I mentor as therapists, that curiosity is the key thing in life to keep alive. Like when you're depressed and you are not curious, when you're anxious, you are closed because your curiosity is not existing because of the anxiety which is crushing you. So you do the work around what keeps you anxious so you can be curious about the world by walking outside your door. Or walking into a different game. And when you play games, like that's what you're doing. You explore and you connect to story, which is, what Fornax was saying before, and you connect to experiences and even a company that feels ethical and good, in a way where they raise money for charity every year. And there's it's ridiculous. And they get people into their studio to tour, and they want to know people, and they display things in the background that people have sent into them on live streams, and you know them in real life when you go to meet them and stuff. And it's just, there's so much, and they have like real stories about communities which aren't highlighted anywhere else, and it's just, it makes you feel good about the game and the thing you're connected to and invested in. So like everyone's kind of saying, like, that's why we are all here, I think, especially doing this podcast. Like the fact that there's not been an episode of the podcast for a while has been really hard for me personally, because I just enjoy talking to these people about the game. Yeah, right.
That's cute.
And so I don't give a shit if there's stuff to even in the game to even talk about. It's just the people I've met through this experience are some of the best people I'll ever meet. So like the fact that is, I can say that it's pretty special for me, and I know it's the same for you guys. You know, it's really cool. So yeah, I really like what you said, Rick, about spending your time on experiences which are important to you, and not necessarily things which are going to grab your attention for 15 seconds on, you know, whatever social media app there is, because I still do it. And I like to, you know, reason it away with, you know, it's information and it's funny and I need a quick laugh, etc., etc. But maybe it stops me from connecting to a person instead of, or playing a game, or like, you know, I just end up looking through things. So anyway, this is a bit more of a ramble, but not ramble. It was relevant. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Beans.
I mean, I would just add that, like, my critique is at the system level, right? Everything. If you think about like environmentalism, like I am an ethical vegan. I don't push it on anybody else. I'm not one of those militant fuckers, but I do it because I want to. Because I want to. Gaming. I'm militant about the bourgeoisie. We should eat the rich, but it's systems, right? In my country, I live in Great Britain, right? And we have like everywhere else a plastic pollution problem, and so the companies came up with recycling, which fucking does not work. So they took the responsibility of producing the plastic themselves for profit, and they put it on the public. So you need to clean up after yourselves, you lazy fucking bastards. And that absolved them of any responsibility of them making a profit and pushing that pollution out into the world. And this is what happens with systemic problems, right? Yeah. And we do have agency. We do have agency. It is an attention economy, but that's you guys. That's us. That's everybody. Yeah. Put your attention where it is. If you see a red-pilled bullshit, do not respond to it. Do not look at it. Do not click on it. Anything that you do to interact with the right-wing propagandists, they bait you. They want your fucking eyes. Ignore them. Do not argue. You can't argue with fucking stupid. They'll just drag you down and beat you with experience, okay? You can't argue with someone who you can't agree like a basis of reality on, right? They have detached themselves. Your attention economy is what you have. You have the power of your purse. So support people who you care about, who you know are ethical, and don't give fuckwits your attention. Leave them alone. Let them drown in the fucking darkness of the void. Okay.
You know those, those little messages you get on your wall, like family is, or something is where the heart is. Like, and this, it feels like one of those things you should put on your wall. Those like cheesy letters, like don't
give fuckwits your time. Yeah, I agree. I need Fornax quotes on my wall. Now, when people come over to visit, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, what is this?" But like,
our children don't know what that term is. Could you explain it, please? Why? Yes, like I can.
With age comes wisdom. Yes. Oh fuck! I need a drink. Jesus fuck. No, it's just. Yes. Oh man. Look, for me, gaming is therapy, right? I feel home. It's where I watch the news and everything is on fire, and then I'm like, well, now I'm informed. Well, fuck. And I can do stuff with my information, and I do. But I need to, like, pull myself away from that, douse myself in water, and then do something so that my cerebral cortex is not trying to strangle me. And I do that with gaming. So that's my thing, right? I also like me and Rook like the C-dramas. So, you know.
We were talking about, we do. We love some C-dramas.
Oh, it's so good. But, what you love. Focus on what you love. And remember, you have the power. That's why they try and suppress art. That's why they try and suppress your vote. That's why they bought fucking TikTok by some right-wing fucking knob jockey who just couldn't find his own house with two hands on a map. That's why they're trying to control everything, because they know that they are profoundly, deeply fucking unpopular. And that as soon as anyone realizes what the fuck they're talking about, everyone goes, ooh, no, gosh.
And
wow,
just
you do that in public?
Knob jockey down as an insult.
I sure did. Right here. like, I'm
Not
taking that
Sure,
one.
that was
Man,
like
Fornex's
Angel's
range
taking
of
notes.
insults. It's impressive. You're like a
I know.
tourist.
God.
I'm learning in school
I've
right
missed.
now.
I don't talk to enough English people anymore, and like, when I say these kinds of phrases in my therapy with my clients, and they're just like,
Well,
"What?"
Quumble is the best one, but
yeah, that one.
I love it.
Yeah, that's right.
Jen,
Yeah.
I blame you wholly for the fact that I say bits and bobs more now than any other human being I speak
That's
to.
so funny.
Just bits and bobs. Knob Jackie, I feel like is working its way into my mind. It's gonna pop out when I least expect it.
Knob heads.
Yep.
Yeah.
yes.
Twat
Yeah.
sandwich or wank sandwich is one.
Before
like
I use it, I do need to look up exactly what it means, but I do get the general gist.
A knob is do you know what a knob is?
Yes.
Then
Yeah,
you're
good.
pretty good. You're pretty
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I don't.
I can
Can you
assume, but
explain
you
it?
know what assuming does. So I just
it makes
before
an
I-
ass out of you and me. That's true.
yes.
I think
it's true, fam.
it is.
Do what you gotta do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
enjoy the
protect
things
your
you enjoy.
peace. Identify what really gives back to you in your life, and not just the stuff that you just do because it's right there in front of you, or you know. I think this is a question that I loved. My spouse at one point, I don't know, I said something like, "Oh, I'm just really tired." And my spouse was like, this is gonna sound rude, but it wasn't. This is just them being honest. They were just like, "Well, you're always tired." And they were just like, "What do you do that makes you not feel tired afterwards?" And I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do I do that actually takes away from me? Like, there must be a lot of stuff that I'm doing. And like, to be fair, I have some chronic health stuff that came out later that explained a bit about why I'm always tired. But like, it was still a really relevant question to ask. And I suddenly started analyzing everything I was doing. Like, okay, well, if I just sat and I scrolled Twitter for 20 minutes without even realizing it, how do I feel after this? And I was like, tired. And then I went, I probably shouldn't do that. And then I looked at something else and I was like, how do I feel after laying on the ground with my dog for 10 minutes? And I was like, happy. And I was like, oh my God, what have I been doing?
Absolutely.
And it was like the same with games, where I was like, if there's a game that I'm playing and I log into it and I'm like, okay, I gotta do my stuff. I do all my stuff. And afterwards I'm just like, man, I'm just like sick of doing this. And I
Why?
wish I didn't have to do this every
Why?
day. And I feel tired.
Why?
And then I was like, oh, maybe I should not do that every day then. Maybe I should look for something else. Or is there a different way that I can engage with this game that will spark the joy and love that I feel about it, rather than just making me feel every time that I log in that I'm like, ugh, you know, like what is there? And I think that's the same if you're engaging in Guild Wars 2, if you're engaging with anything in your life, take stock of it. Really genuinely ask yourself the question, where do I find that happiness? Like, how can I engage with things in a different way? What can I cut out and replace with other stuff? And like, yeah, absolutely. Like, the world is going to take a lot from us right now, and it's exhausting. And the news, life, everything that's assaulting us, all of the things that are happening, like, we have to be aware of, we have to give credence
That's
to.
such a good way
But
of putting it. Everything that's assaulting us. That's such a
Yeah,
good
it is,
way
like,
of putting it.
True.
Damn.
So like, we
Yeah.
have to take stock of, in this moment, where do we genuinely get back our energy and our life and our happiness? And sometimes that means stepping out of your comfort zone to realize, like, maybe these things I'm doing just aren't serving me and I need to find other stuff that will. And sometimes it means, like, yeah, just like we were talking about, like, a game can be an amazing haven where you're like, I think I do need to give myself a little quiet time. I need to give myself time to play this game, or reach out to old friends, or to try to do stuff that I hadn't done, because, like, boy, do I just need a break. Like, I am tired, you know?
Yeah.
So
And that's
Yeah.
what like burnout is about as well. It's so true. I mean, it's really, we're gonna end soon as well, but it's the productivity and the you know, so much of this is based around how we are not able to be still and stop as human beings nowadays as much as we used to, or as much as we had to, right? Because even if you think about, if we relate this back to gaming, right? When I was like 5 years old and I had a Commodore 64 and it was a tape deck that you would put into, that you would load, and it would take 10 to 20 minutes to load, right? Just the first flipping level. I had time and to wait. Like I had to wait for it. It's all about like how, and then you have that time to either connect with someone or to do, and then you have that experience, right? And we just don't get that as much anymore. We maybe invest a lot of time in researching things that we want to buy or whatever, but it's not waiting. All of it is available all the time. Everything is there. We can ask a question, it gets answered. We can do this, it gets done. We can order a thing, it comes tomorrow, you know, rather than next week, which, you know, used to be fine. We don't get the time to, you know, you have to really be intentional about doing what you said with laying down and hanging out with your dog, or connecting with a person and planning something and scheduling like a gaming day or whatever. Like it's so much. We have to be more intentionally patient nowadays than ever, whereas we had to just be patient before. It's so wild. And like, it's so funny that also the immediate thing we're talking about is there is almost not enough content or something around Guild Wars 2, and how we weren't almost that there's an almost
come full circle.
Yeah, it's like realizing that that's also fine. That also
that's
there are things in there, and it is a bit of a gift. That's a good way of phrasing it. Yeah, it's
boredom
funny.
is super important.
We need it.
We have lost boredom. We have lost. People are terrified of boredom, and yet that is it's
time to be introspective. That's why, and because there's too much going on, and people are scared of that.
But it's also creativity, isn't it? In that boredom, you find creativity, and I think that's what we're being robbed of. We're being robbed of our time. Like
curiosity.
It is an attention economy that. And it's also, I think, I don't think it's that much in the UK yet, but I hear a lot about like the hustle culture into American life, and everything is monetization, everything is trying to turn a profit, everything is, and you're just, at what point do you see your life as you're the hamster in the fucking treadmill? And by the time you lock up, so much time has passed, and you've missed so much time with your friends, with your family, with exploring the world, exploring yourself and your creativity. I feel like we need to have a bit of a revolution. Like the Chinese at the moment, a lot of Chinese youth are having this sitting down, that they're lying down, they're just fuck off, I'm not participating anymore. I don't want to do this. It is just fucking ridiculous. And Xi Jinping, Winnie the fucking Pooh, is not very happy about any of this. Sad day for him. Dictators weep, weep. Oh, so bad.
Well, I mean,
but
I think a bit of a different story.
It's a mixed bag, and they're actually there's a lot to be praised with like their green. They're doing renewables like up the yin yang, and they're turning deserts into forests. So I there's a lot to be said for actually appreciating and following the science. I've just got to say that, which is another thing which seems to be like being thrown onto the fucking bonfire. But I think it's just on us as gamers, as a community, to be intentional, to support each other, to support people who make good things, and to take time for ourselves and to appreciate what we have. And I would like to say that I think one of the nicest ways, if you've like fallen off a game, is to go back to the beginning and start again. Make a new character, explore the world, do it in a different capacity, with a different mindset. Because every time, as time goes by, it's not just the content might be the same, but you are a completely different person. And you might feel and see things and understand things and get something completely different. This is why people read books over and over again during their life, because each time they read it, like epic fantasies or Tolstoy or something really with a lot of like meat on its bones, you can get something else out of that every time you go back to it, because you are a different person every time you read it. And I think that's kind of like the beauty of art. And yeah, I just love that we're such weird fucking mammal creative things, naked fucking ape thing. I love the human
You
species.
love that we're naked
We are
ape
fantastic. Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
That's what does
We're
it
so
for Fortnite.
fucking weird, aren't we? We're so fucking weird.
Whoa, you're weird and
yeah.
naked?
I love weird.
Damn.
Every time I am on this podcast, that is 100% what's happening. Why do you think I need an avatar?
Amazing.
I think on that note, we're probably pretty good with where the podcast is right now. It's been, wow. I was worried about having things to talk about. I'm at least really philosophical kind of.
I was
we
gonna
got
say,
philosophical with this. And
do you need life advice? So Lightbringers next week. We've got it.
We
are bringing the light.
Yeah, existential podcast right now. Humanistic in all the things. Okay, does anyone say anything more on that before we head off for today, I think?
I just want to plug A Time Adrift, which is something that me and Rook are working on a lot. Please go and help us and support us and watch that, because it's amazing and a huge amount of work for all of us, and we would love you to support that. If you like pen and paper RPG, basically a real play TTRPG set in the Final Fantasy XIV universe in the Black Rose arc of the narrative, then yes, please come and join us as we RP the fuck out of that shit. Yes.
We are RPing our asses off. I want to be honest. And it's very fun to watch Fortnite roleplay in real time. I'm just going to put that out there. It's been such a delight. But honestly, yeah, if anybody wants to support, that would be great. I think the only thing that I have is like a little tiny tack on, because sure, this is a Guild Wars 2 podcast. There's a balance update coming.
Yes,
April.
That's right. We do.
14th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the big thing everybody needs to know about this is that pretty much everything is getting nerfed. And I would not panic because that sounds bad. But the idea is that they've realized that power creep is happening and that it has affected the baseline of power in the whole game. And so they are looking to tune everything and still keep all of the specializations and stuff as much as they can, like equivalent to one another, but to essentially bring some of the numbers down so that the world retains a sense of challenge and doesn't just like continually become easier and easier. So don't panic. It's fine. It's going to be fine. And if anything, it should just make things a little bit more interesting, but we'll see how it goes. April 14th.
Lovely. Yay. Yes. I have not read anything about it, but I saw, and Rook mentioned it, and I was like, yep, that's probably something we should do.
Spot the professional commentator.
You literally, like, yeah, that was it. That was fine. I mean, I was looking through, I said literally so many times. I scrolled through the things, and it was just like doing this in PvE minus blah 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 minus blah blah blah. The damage coefficient of this number is coming down from 0.0375 to 0.02 or something, and I'm like, hoo, that's gonna be cool. But I think it's. I don't know why. We had some comments about sadness and stuff, and I'm like, about the patch, not just general sadness. Yeah, this is fine.
In the patch notes, they talk a lot about sadness. I don't know who wrote them, but I really hope he's okay.
It's just a
We're
comment.
nerfing your mood to sadness.
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean, if you want to experience sadness, Final Fantasy XIV has a whole death arc that you can experience with this one. Just dive straight into the existential dread and nihilism. You can really enjoy that. Yeah.
It'll pick up at the end. I promise.
It's gonna be fun. But yes, it will be fine. It'll be fine. I mean, they'll change things if it feels really, really awful. But at the end of the day, it's just numbers go down, numbers go up. Balance happens. If there's things that are broken, cool. But like if we're beating things really, really easily, then that's gonna be less fun. Elder Scrolls Online is literally changing the entire balance of their game because it's too easy. So they're making it so it's not as easy, so people play through more, and they're not just like, I can just press one button and it doesn't actually do anything else other than just fire, and it's just like easy as piss. I'm not sure why easy as piss is a thing I just said, but I just said it, so it's fine.
I think that's a new thing.
It is a
I
new
would hope
thing.
that's easy to do, though. If not,
it might not be
you should
as
probably
easy,
get that checked out.
or you might just be older, so there's also that.
Hang on, so
I'm not showing
ESO
I have
confirmed
problems
water
with
sports? Is that what I'm hearing? No?
Oh my gosh.
So thanks so much for coming to the Guild
no.
Wars 2 podcast for today. We have hit the limit for me there.
And end scene.
Done. Great episode, everybody.
To be fair, it wasn't that filthy today. I mean, considering we've not been together for a while, I think that we've done pretty well. Please don't add to that.
No,
That is not
I'm being
permission.
a good girl today. I am.
Sure.
I'm very old. All the naughtiness is just falling out of me. It's fine.
I doubt that very much.
It's shriveled up and
also,
dropped
if it's
off,
falling
it's
out of you,
fine.
then it's something else.
Oh my god.
We had intros at the beginning. If you want to know where to catch everyone, go and do that. Also, links in the description where you can purchase the expansions and support these wonderful people. Give them money. If you go and check out their streams and other things, make sure you subscribe to them on YouTube as well as on Twitch. We will see you maybe in a couple of weeks. Or if there's some big news coming out, we will also cover that. But for now, maybe we'll do some gameplay because, you know, when my PC's not broken, which is potentially what we could have done
I was
today.
gonna say, did we end? Bye.
No,
Are
I
we
just
doing
paused
gameplay
for a
right now,
second
or?
because no gameplay right now. But everyone, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Go and check out the episodes on youtube.com/Jebro as well. Give us a cheeky little review on whatever you find us. Give us 5 stars if you can. If not, thanks anyway. Bye.
If not, fuck you. Yes.
Yeah, you knob jockey.
You knob
man,
jockey.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
I'm only playing. It's fine.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.